But the reason why I'm here, and the reason why I go out and I do these events, is because the technology scene changes very, very fast. The last year, Microsoft released 13 major products. Things from Windows 7 to Server 2008 to SQL Server 2008 R2 to we've got the new Windows Phone that we just released. We've got Visual Studio tools. We've got Expression Blend tools that we've released 3 iterations of. We've got 2 new versions of Silverlight in the last year. We've got just a ton of things that are coming up. And with all of those changes and all the stuff that's going on, how do you keep up with, what should I pay attention to? People are saying WCF. What about WCF? Data services, is that worth your time, or are you looking for, core, whatever? Do you know, have you seen what you can do with this stuff lately? Same thing, should you spend time learning Silverlight? There was a bunch of blogosphere things going on, well, geez, is it dead or whatever? My goal is to go out and have that conversation with you, answer your questions, and provide you a conduit into Microsoft to help you find the answers that you need. So I want to thank you guys for inviting me up and taking the initiative to get this up and going. If anyone's interested, I was talking with Savi and James before we got started. We run a Toastmasters for Geeks club in the Twin Cities called Tech Masters. It's literally Toastmasters. If you know anything about Toastmasters, it's public speaking. If you're interested in anything like that, we meet every Tuesday morning from 7:30 to 9. It's only an hour away. But if anyone from here drove down, by gosh, I got a T-shirt for you that come to our next meeting, and I'll make sure you get that. But just to kind of, if you're thinking about going out and doing presentations, one of the things about communications is that you do build some credibility and credentials. At the last Code Camp in the Twin Cities, we had 10 speakers came from our Tech Masters Club. And you might say, okay, well, that's just the local club, local Code Camp, whatever. But 3 or 4 of those speakers also went down to Des Moines this last weekend to speak at the Iowa Code Camp, and they're going over to Eau Claire, Wisconsin to speak at the Cedar Valley Code Camp. And some of them have gone down to St. Louis and have gone out to Omaha. And we've got opportunities. If you're interested in doing this type of presentation, if this is something that interests you, find me after we get done. I think we're going to stop over at the Tavern, or what's the name of the place?
The Tavern.
The Tavern. So we're going to try to get done here at 7:30. Just crank through this and make sure we got plenty of time for questions and anything else. Why are we here? If you want to get in touch with me, I've got contact information up there. Benkovich.com is a website that I've maintained for the last several years. It has downloads of all the code that we write, any samples, slide decks, etc. If you want to go out and take advantage of that. I also do a radio show every Monday morning from 11 to 11:30 local time. It's 9 a.m. Pacific time. We have a dial-in phone bank with operators standing by talk radio, where we bring in people like Scott Guthrie, Mark Rosinovich, Christian Shorman, guys that are actually driving Microsoft products. We get them on the radio, and you can call up and ask them questions and tell them what you think about different whatever, and we'll give you the floor and let you do that. So if you're interested in MSDN radio, that's a fun thing that I'm also very involved in. We are here to talk about the PDC. And this session is talking about what is PDC. How many people have heard of PDC? It's a 3-letter acronym that stands for Professional Developer Conference. It's a semi-regular kind of conference that Microsoft holds when we've got new things to go out and announce and get developers excited about. We don't do it every year. We did do it last year because we had all of those things that were coming out. We did it again this year because we got another slew of different great opportunities to go out and learn about what products are out there and what developers need to know to be up to speed with. The key things that Microsoft is launching in the next 12 months is the Windows Phone 7, which you may have heard of, and it's available as of yesterday. So I went out to the Mall of America, I'm looking at these phones, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get my own. I've got a prototype device I've been running for 3 months. So anyway, but we're also doing IE9. We're talking about Windows Azure, the cloud. And so my goal tonight is to take that conference, there's 3 tracks, and distill it down into about an hour and a half of what did we announce, what's interesting, what do you want to dive into next. And then we can take these sessions, if you're interested in doing more monthly meetings, you want me to come back and you want to dive into any one of these, then we can do that at that point in time. So, give and take, ask questions, stop me. I do have 3 shirts in my car that I will give away, and what we'll do is I'll grab like some sheets of paper, and if you ask a good question, then you might get a shirt. And we'll just kind of play it from there. So, 1, 2, 3, there we go. There's our shirts. Trust me, they're really cool. So anyway, Microsoft PDC is a conference. Like I said, it is available. If you didn't go out to it, you can watch the entire conference online. MicrosoftPDC10 includes a player. It's got streaming video. You can watch the keynote. You can watch the entire conference. The one thing that was great about this PDC compared to last year is last year we had, I think, like 18 tracks, and we had somewhere close to 600 or 700 sessions. So how do you take in all of that information? It's a lot harder to digest than if you've got something that's as consumable as this. You could literally sit down and go through the entire conference and be able to see all of the different sessions that they had to talk about. Just click on the link, MicrosoftPDC.com. That'll take you out to where that link is. And then from here, you can then click on the individual tracks and sessions that you find interesting. So you've got the list of all the sessions, or you can go to the schedule and just kind of see how they went ahead and delivered them. You can also get into just lots of great information. You can download them. You can watch them later if you want to. You can download the slide decks. But it gives you a great opportunity to go out and see. But as you can see, you've got the clients and devices, cloud services, and framework and tools, and you've got all of the sessions all the way across of different things. If you're interested in any one of these topics, you can go out and you can download it and watch it. Streaming instantly available. We also have all of TechEd available if you want to download TechEd sessions. We also have mixed sessions. You can go out and get those. And there's actual old data, which is WCF data services we'll talk about a little later, that you can use to go out and do that. So with this, let's go out and I'm going to kind of talk about what we're going to cover today. The key takeaways is that we want to get you to understand what was announced, what are the big messages that Microsoft had coming out of this conference. Where I can, I'll give you timelines. Things like if you want to do the SQL, Azure Report Services, November 22nd is the date you want to be watching because that's when they'll be announcing things around that and making the CTP available for people to go out and do things. We'll do a few demos. We'll try to keep this to about an hour and a half so we can get done close to 7:30. We'll go as deep and into whatever areas you guys want. My demos will go where you guys want to go, or I'll drive if you don't make suggestions, and we'll kind of have some fun with that. If you want to do an X&A game, maybe we'll do an X&A game. I've got code for that. And I'll also highlight the sessions that I've gone through that I found to be very interesting and that are worth your time if you do want to go back and check out what's going on. So from here, we've got really the three tracks were clients and devices. Clients and devices is talking about HTML5, a new specification for how we go out and do the markup on the browser. The Windows Phone 7. How many people have used the Windows Phone 7 developer tools? Anyone? So if you haven't seen them, I'll show you how you can get the tools. We'll go out and build a Windows Phone app. I'll show you how you can put it in the marketplace and how you can make money off it. Who wants to make money? There we go. Everybody. I knew you were awake. We'll talk about the Azure, the cloud services, and we'll talk about what's announced in it. How many people know about what Azure is? So a few people do, but if you don't know what Azure is, we'll spend just a real brief introduction to what cloud computing is and how that fits into our tool belt as we're going out and building solutions. When do I want to build a server and actually physically install everything versus, hey, go and use a server that's already in the cloud that I can just allocate and use to my own devices. And I'll show you how easy it is to go out and take advantage of that. We'll do that with Windows Azure and the SQL Azure. And then finally, we'll kind of sprinkle it as we go through, but there's going to be talk about OData, which is the way you can get into new data access technologies. There's some great announcements around that. And we'll also talk about some of the language features. The futures of where C# and VB are going. Anders Helsberg, who pretty much designed and created C#, did a great session that you should check out from PDC, and I'll show you where you can get to that when you can watch it.